I'm a piano. Oh, mama, manga bagon. I be good bad boy, no choice. Been in the game not long. She be now we sing a come. Extraordinary things I'm doing. Ordinary things you move me again. Extraordinary things I'm doing. Ordinary things don't move me again. No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. This is the Urban Talk Radio 103.5 FM. You know what? Come on, Harry. Bring that back again. Bring that back. Let me hear that on my piano.
We in the club all night. Many things I don't try. Mama boy don't hide. Gas me up, no time. I'm trending, I don't know why.
It's only right Amapiano have taken over the world. Amapiano, African music have finally invaded and taken over the world. Amapiano along with Afrobeats. Today is Wednesday, and this is the Urban Talk Radio 103.5 FM, where you will hear conversation, information, education, inspiration, and motivation from the American urban perspective. I am your host, Kingsley Ossei. My co-host, Shafiq, is not in the building right now. Today on Urban Talk Radio, you can join the conversation on Facebook at Bull Minds and Twitter at Bull Minds, and also on my Facebook page, Kingsley Ossei. You can also stream this show on all smartphones, it's not your smartphone or completely. You could also stream this show on your smartphone and or computer by logging on to newhavenindependent.org. In the studio today, I have my tea. In the studio today, I also have my V8 homemade by my mother-in-law. I need that to clear my throat. And finally, in the studio today, I have my sis, Mona Jackson, aka Miss Jackson, as I call her, who's the executive director of Cook and Grow. Mona Jackson, how are you, sis?
I'm fine, Kingsley. How are you?
I'm just happy to be here. And on this Women's History Month, we are very happy for you to be our first featured artist. First featured special guest. I have to put a special in here. I don't want no problem with you. that smile. If you're just on FM and you're not on any type, or you're not on Facebook, you're missing out on this beautiful smile from my sis, Miss Jackson. So Mona Jackson, whom we call Chef Jackson, is the founder and CEO of Cook and Grow here in Bridgeport. She loves to cook. So after graduating from culinary school, she opened up her first panini cafe, which I do remember very, very, very well. Over the years, Chef Mona created Cook and Grow, a nonprofit organization to teach inner city youth life skills and healthy eating for the youth, along with gardening. She was awarded the Food Hero Award by the Bridgeport Food Policy Council. Cook and Grow has been featured in Fairfield magazine and just recently Black Chef's Culinary History. When former Top Chef contestants and chef instructor Chris Scott from the Institute of Culinary Education in New York was asked about who has influenced them in the food world, he chose to speak about Chef Mona Jackson. Whoa, Miss Jackson.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you again. How are you, my dear? How's life treating you?
Life is good. The universe is blessing me every day.
Life is good. Hashtag LIG. How was your grandson? How was your son? How's everybody doing?
Oh, they're fine, Kingsley. Thanks for asking.
My pleasure. So let's talk about Cook and Grow. I just did a summary of it. I have been through this journey. I have seen this journey as it was birthed. Yes, I have. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let's talk about Cook and Grow, how all that came along, and how this whole thing is driven by passion, and you planted it, you watered it, and it is growing tall. Take us through it.
Yes, it is. How it came about through an idea I had 17 years ago. And when President Obama first got into office, and I was working at this restaurant that I did not fit in per se. So I quit, came home, sat at my thinking desk, and I started noticing kids, how low self-esteem they had, different health problems and stuff. So I decided to write a proposal and create Cook and Grow, a full culinary program, which teaches kids their life skills about cooking and eating and healthy. And due to the fact that Scott Hughes, I approached him and spoke to him about doing a class at the Bridgeport Library.
When you say Scott Hughes, you mean the formerly Black librarian?
Yes.
That was ran out.
Yes.
I'm taking it there.
Okay, that's okay, because that's just what they did.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it going.
Yeah. So he liked the idea. So I taught maybe for about 2 years out at Black Rock Library. We put in a garden out there, which is still stands. I don't think they use it anymore. We have a garden. The main garden is in downtown Bridgeport Library. So in the summer and the springtime, I partnered with Sal Gabberti, who has a farm in Easton. And Sal has been donating herbs and veggies since I had that garden. So the kids, when I have my junior chef program in the summer, the kids tend to the garden. So it's like garden to kitchen. So whatever is growing in there at that time, they, cook with it. They also received recipes. They learn their knife skills. They also learn how to measure, because they have to know their measurements, because we do sweet and savory dishes. So they have to know their measurements. They learn how table etiquette, how to clean the kitchen, wash dishes, everything. So it's even though if they don't go into this industry, they have the skills to do it. Right now, I'm with the Justice Education, who's one of my clients, out of West Hartford, and I teach Bassett High School juniors and seniors.
Nice.
Also, who I have today. I have them. I do 2 semesters with them. So I have them from January all the way up until June. And then I get a break, and then that's when I start my summer program. Also, I'll have Full Circle nonprofit, which is over on East Main Street. So the CEO is Janine Reed, and she will be giving me a new class today.
That's very interesting. Ebony, who is it? It's Ebony Barnes, who is the she is at the Greens home. She actually called me a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, about a 12-year-old that she needed help for. She needed some help for. So I may have to refer her to you.
Okay.
She's in the Greens home. And big shout out to Scott Hughes. You're talking about Scott Hughes, formerly Black librarian. Mona, if you know me, I'm a very loyal person. That's why I don't do too good in endorsing candidates, because I won't endorse a candidate against another that I also have relationship with. So I try to stay out of that fray. But you talk about Scott Hughes. Scott Hughes, we went through this journey together. At the same time where they gave you the garden, he have us do our first program that somebody stole from me, which was the poetry. What was it? It was the youth poetry workshop. You remember that?
Right. Yes, I do.
We were doing youth poetry workshop.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about poetry, so I brought somebody that knew everything about it. The next thing I know, the person stole the program from me. That was one of my bad experiences that I had. Scott also always sponsored our annual youth back to school youth summit. He was one of the first sponsors of it. So guys, you always got to remember when you first grow that plant and you watering it, you got to remember the people that help you.
Yeah,
get the things that you needed to grow that plant, and he surely did help. And I will never forget that when we came in the game, when nobody knew us and nobody cared because we were nobody, he was there to make sure that he helped us grow that plant. Mona, what were some of your challenges? Because I've seen some of your challenges. We had so many conversations. We done cursed out politicians. We don't like. My sis Mona don't hold back, and you know what? I don't hold back either, even though sometimes I'm politically correct because you got to be politically correct. But sometimes I got to be like, Mona. That's what I love my sis. Talk to me. What are some of your challenges, Mona?
Oh, a lot. But to me, is going through this journey and still walking that same road is that the people, when I first started, it was like, oh, another program in Bridgeport. It's not going to last. I had no sponsors. I had nothing. I had me, and I knew this would work.
Right.
And to this day, we're the only type of program here in Bridgeport like this. I mean, all the different, like the lighthouse and the Wakeman, and I mean, like, you get grants to run these programs.
Right.
But what are you doing?
Right.
I mean, I have taken in the past, I did 2 graduations up at my culinary school that I went to. So I still have a relationship with them. Anytime I need them for something, because they know what I do, they say yes. As far as money, I mean, in the beginning, it was do this on a dime. And I did, I did. So, I mean, I have now, it's different because we do write grants, and I have a board, and but it's still building. I still have to build it. And I recently partnered with the Connecticut Institution of Refugees and Immigrants.
Awesome.
That's a new contract that I have, and I'll be starting them in July. So after I do this last class in July, then I'm on vacation, because I work from August when I come back, and all the way up until the end of July. So.
Mona, I never thought I would hear you talk about Cook and Grow and just how busy you have been. I never thought so. It's very amazing to have such a unique program. I came into the whole nonprofit business with by the way of hip hop music culture, which is all I knew, and nobody was doing anything as such. And now everybody got some type of hip hop program. And we were the first ones to break the doors down as a community, to go into the schools and reach out to the kids. Their door was not open.
And I don't think the door closed when you no longer did it, or whatever the powers that be. There's no more back to school thing how you used to do at the schools, and the kids really enjoyed it, just like how they enjoy cooking. And it's amazing that how I teach my kids about food is that we go around the world. One day we may be in Italy, the next day we may be in Morocco, but see, these kids never tasted anything like it. So when they cook, they may have those faces. Oh, what is this? But once they sit down and eat it, yeah, they did it.
I have been to your class to see the little ones.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they get real excited.
yeah.
You have a 5 weeks program in the summer. Talk to me about that.
Okay,
Let's get very specific, and then give
that's
information about if there's any kids needed, or if you already have kids. Let's talk about how that program is run.
okay. All right. When the kids are out of public schools and their parents need to find somewhere to put them, but I let the parents know this is not a latch program. I am not a babysitter. I'm a chef.
Mhm.
So your kid has to know that when they come in, I have them from 9 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So they do their breakfast, they do their lunch. On Thursdays, we go to the farmers market so they
Mhm.
can see the vegetables or whatever that is there that day. So like I said, it's from 9 to 2 o'clock, Monday through Friday. The fee, the tuition fee is $575 for those weeks.
Okay.
All right. And we also can, like I said, we tend the garden. Okay, so it's just a fabulous program, and I usually take no more than 10 kids.
Okay.
I no more than 10 kids, and they get a chef jacket, they get an apron, they get a
Nice.
side towel,
Nice.
and since I have to wear a chef jacket every day, then you have to wear one to make
Nice.
them feel that they're part of the kitchen, part of the process, what they're going through. And then at the end of those 5 weeks, they get recipes every single day. If we do savory and sweet. So they get a meal, and they may make cookies or they make muffins, with fresh blueberries, and everything is fresh. They make fresh pasta. So everything I try to teach them and for them to cook healthy is all done fresh.
So how do you recruit the kids? Because you talk about only how many 7 through 12, and you only need about what 10 kids, right?
Yeah.
How hard or how easy it is to get those 10 kids, because it's also cost a certain amount of money
Yes.
to be a
Yeah.
farm. So how do you get inner city kids whose parents may want them to join, but they don't really have money to join?
All right. What we do give out scholarships.
Okay.
We do scholarships, especially if it's a family that has three kids, but only 2 of them can go because the other one is underage.
Mhm.
You gotta, because we use real knives,
Okay.
nothing plastic, and that's why we teach them their knife skills on how to hold a knife, how to walk with a knife,
Okay.
And we will do a full and a half. So the one that has 2 children and that wants to come in, we'll give a scholarship to one, but the other one he will have to pay for.
So can't be having no angry kids walking into your place, can
Oh
we?
no. And Kingsley, I tell you something. In the years I've been doing this, I only had to terminate 2 kids. Because
Wow.
you are going to have respect for each other, and definitely you're going to have respect for me. This is your kitchen, and this is not a playground. We teach them safety and about washing their hands. Everything.
What type of feedback are you getting from the parents, the community, legislators, anybody that is actually supporting the program? What type of feedback are you getting?
I am getting very good feedback. As of now, and this is only March, I have sent out 6 applications to parents who call me and one lady, one lady called me, I think last week. She called me twice, but I finally got to her. And she wanted to do cooking class for her granddaughter to surprise the mother. And she said, well, she pretends to cook. And I started laughing. And I said, that's good, right? So now I said to her, well, how old is she? She was only 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
She couldn't even reach the stations, as we call them, you know, and you're going to be using real tools, real
Definitely.
knives and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, but I have had 2 6-year-olds, not at the same time, but these girls, Kingsley, I'm telling you, I was amazed how they were organized. They knew what they were doing. They knew how to handle a knife, and they were only 6. And they stood their own with the guys that come also. There's not always all girls. But yeah. So we like I said, it will start June the 19th, the summer program, until July 21st. So with that, they will they save their recipes. So at the end, they'll do a P&P, which is a plate presentation. They will invite their families, their friends, and they will create the menu of all the recipes, and they vote on it.
Nice.
Yeah, they vote on it. So and as far as the other question that you asked me about the feedback,
I said legislators, parents, you know.
We were blessed with a state, the state
Grant.
budget.
Okay.
Yeah. Congressman Himes and Senator Moore graduated my class last summer, their junior chef class.
Okay.
And the parents were like, you know them? Yeah. You know, they're friends of mine, you know? So I always try to have some type of political person so they can see what we're doing.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely. Sometimes people don't understand why the political side is necessary, because for me, especially being that I'm deep in the violence prevention part of it, they're going to take credit.
Oh, yeah.
They're taking credit when the violence is going down, where you pretty much played some type of part in it. I don't care if it was 1% part or 2% part. So with that being said, it's good to have them, you know, not to allow them to use you, but you also knowing what you need out of them.
Right.
Maybe
exactly.
to legitimize your organization. You know, it's necessary, because I recall our first youth summit when I asked Senator Blumenthal's office to come in, and they didn't want to, and then they did a little research, and then they came, and our first one was at Pastor Mo's church. And when they came, and he's you know, people say, hey, call us whenever you have an event. They respected the platform, you know, they were very comfortable with the platform. And ever since, you know, a phone call to Senator Blumenthal's office or whatever, and they're there. And for you, Congressman Jim Himes have been a big supporter.
Yes, he has.
You from day one. That I do know. Every now and then you're gonna have some politicians that wait until the tree is growing. And then they come, and then they come in. He's been down since day one. Trust me, I've been paying attention, so I know. Mola, we don't want to take it there. We have a lot of conversation about these bomb ass politicians.
Tricks, yeah.
Let me do the station ID. This is the Urban Talk Radio 103.5 WNHHLP. I am your host, Kingsley Ossei. My co-host Shafiq is not here. And if you are just joining us today on Urban Talk Radio, you can join the conversation on Facebook at Bold Minds and Twitter at Bold Minds. Also on my Facebook page, Kingsley Ossei. You can also stream this show on your smartphone or computer by logging on to newhavenindependent.org. In the studio today, we have our very special guest, Miss Mona Jackson, Executive Director of Cook and Grow. Mona, you never seen my little one cooking, have you?
No.
Oh man, my
Really?
little one burns.
Yeah, right.
She burns.
Really, huh?
When I mean she burns, she burns. I'm gonna show you. This is my little one's kitchen set.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, now she's not playing. She's not playing games.
All right.
She is.
Then as when she gets older, if I'm look at her. Oh,
Hey, baby.
All right, Daddy, cut it out. You know, get out of my face.
Take it. Okay.
So
All right, cool.
I did the couple weeks ago, Gwen Everett's. I got interviewed by her, and it was a nice interview talking about Cook and Grow. And after that, we received a donation from somebody in Woodbridge.
Right.
I was just talking about the program. I wasn't asking for money or anything like that, but there are people out there that don't know about the program, and you know where I'm at, Kingsley.
Definitely.
Okay. And especially in the summertime, that people pass that window and they're like looking in, or they're trying to get in, but I always keep the door locked because I have little kids in there. But I sometimes will go to the door and what is this? Oh, I didn't know. So I will invite them in to show them, you know, what's going on in there. And it's all about healthy kids, man. All this processed food and chemicals, and it's not good.
You know how I feel about that.
I know, kids.
Mona knows my eating habit. You damn near got to pay me to eat what I want to eat.
For sure.
You know?
I know that.
Mona knows me for a very long time, and
very long time.
I will go all day starving before you give me some processed food.
Right? Yeah.
You
know? It's a good thing. You know, like I said, the universe have blessed me, and it's getting bigger.
And Mona, you mentioned finish. You mentioned Gwen Taylor, Gwen Edwards, and you know what? I wanted to bring it back to that because there are two journalists in our community that we do not need to take for granted. I have been on Our Lives, I don't even know how many times.
Yeah.
Miss Gwen Edwards have featured myself and our organization every time we had a special event.
Okay.
Every time. I want to also give a big shout out to Mr. Frank Rickier.
I haven't, he hasn't gotten to me. No, I haven't gotten to him yet.
No, you need to get to Frank because Frank don't say no. Frank wants a good story, whether it's a bad story or a good story. A story is a story. Frank is going to bring it to his producers, and you know, they're going to make a decision on it. But I have to give a shout out to Frank because Frank is not driven by the station. Frank drives the station, because if you put in a phone call to Frank, says, Frank, I need help. Frank, I have something I need to cover. Frank, before he can even tell you that I got to go get clearance, Frank is going to tell you that, Kingsley, I will do it.
Yeah.
Call me on this day and let's make it happen. And he's always been a man of his word as well.
Okay.
So I really want to give a shout out to these two people that have been very instrumental during the growth of Connecticut Against Violence from day one. You know,
and also, Kingsley, I want to mention that besides me teaching the kids, we also do adult classes.
Okay, let's talk about that.
We call them date night cooking classes. You don't have to have a date, you know, but how that works, we just did one in February. Chef Dave did that class. Yeah.
Yep.
and
Okay.
and it was Valentine's weekend before Valentine's, which was that Tuesday. So the that one is like a fundraiser for us. So so you have to pay to come to these classes. So on that day, he showed them how to do crusted. They had crusted lamb chops with potato au gratin, asparagus. For appetizers, they made crab cakes, and for dessert, Death by Chocolate cake, along with wine. And Raz, who sits on my board,
Razul.
Razul, yeah, he came in and did cocktails.
Okay.
So we're getting ready to do another one on the 24th. This chef is from CIA, graduate of the CIA, Culinary Institute of America, not the government.
Okay. Hey,
And she, but
well,
and
I
she,
mean, go ahead, finish it.
and she is a chef instructor at my culinary school. So she's coming in to do this class. I usually don't do those classes. You know, I like to feature local chefs and stuff to come. Our friend, Chef Damon, he has offered for me to bring my kids to his restaurant, and they're going to cook a meal.
You mean Chef Damon Day?
Yeah.
That we just featured last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I seen that. Yeah, that was
2 weeks ago. Awesome.
Yeah. So he has offered, because he did a date night cooking class before for me years ago, before he just totally blew up, and I'm so glad for him. So
and you are talking about 29 Marco Court restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So like I said, that's what we also do.
It's funny you said CIA and not the government. You know, I recruited these kids called CIA when I was in the arcade mall running the street team, and they were called Criminals in Action.
I remember them.
Remember them
Yes.
wild ASS Puerto Ricans. Oh, I love them to death. You know, how could you not remember them? What the wildest Puerto Ricans in Bridgeport you could find, you know, and I had to take the guns from these kids, and they were tech crew. They enjoyed what they were doing, but I had to take their guns and their spray paints, and they never let the spray paints go, but they used to spray paint all over Bridgeport walls, but. I took all that from their hands, and I put staple guns in their hands, and we just, they embraced the street team and the hip hop culture, which they were already a part of. And, now they are all, family. They all parents and taking care of the kids, and they got licensed, to carry instead of running around wild, So like Mona was changing lives and didn't even know, I had no idea I was contributing to the culture. To the society in a different way.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. But that was good. That was good. So that's about where Cook and Grow is at, and like I said, it's getting bigger.
And we are the products of the historical arcade mall. For all you who don't know, you might want to Google arcade mall, Bridgeport, Connecticut, where we had to fight for that building to stay open because that building was about to go down.
Yeah, that's right.
That historical building during Bill Finch era was about to go down, and we fought to keep that building alive.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful building.
And you guys cannot, there should not be any storytelling about the arcade mall without having us in the conversation.
Exactly.
I'm gonna make it.
I was in your shop every other day.
You was there every day. Y'all are not gonna rewrite history. We were on the sidewalk making so much money.
Yeah.
And with nobody in the arcade mall was abandoned. And they
Yeah.
said, no, we cannot vend there from Monday to Friday. We can only come in there for Friday, Saturday on the weekend. So we look behind us and we said, let's go into this arcade mall and make something out of
Yeah.
it. Paying $300 rent, $350 fixing
Yeah.
up stuff. We did everything from day one, everything from the scratch with no type of help at all.
That's right. Yeah, the city didn't care, you know. But I guess now you go in there. There's things happening in there, and there's shops in there,
Right.
you know, but nothing like back in the day, man.
Mona, I remember when I was bringing Little Kim to the arcade mall, and I called Connecticut Post for coverage. Connecticut Post tells me that we are not gonna promise you that we'll be there, because if we get a call that somebody got shot somewhere, we got to go cover that.
Yeah.
Mona, I remember this like it was yesterday.
Okay.
I remember this like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I hired AOG security team. I didn't hire any police officers. And big shout out to Bridgeport Police Department. You know, they were always helpful. You know, to us, even though every now and then there was one jerk, you know, in the mix. And so Little Kim shows up.
I was there that day.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, and V, yeah.
V was there, you know.
It was so crowded in there, you couldn't even get in there.
Mona, you could not, but you know what? My security team was able to handle that without us calling the police department for any type of help. But the police ended up being there and watched my security team have everything under control. And then guess who shows up and we get the front page? Connecticut Post. They got
shooting on the other.
No, it was no shooting, and they must have got a call that there is a news, there is an article, something worth the news. You know, so we went from we can promise you because of if somebody gets shot to get in the front page. And shout to Little Kim, you know, she did not want to leave. Her security had to get her out of there to go to Hot 93 because she was scheduled to be at Hot 93 at 5 o'clock. And they had to drag her out of there. The girl did not want to leave.
She didn't want to leave,
She did not want to leave, man. Big shout out to her. That's why her fans really, really love her. She's about her fans. So, so Mona, what else do we need to know? What's the next chapter? What are the dreams that needs to be fulfilled? And what type of help would you seek to make it happen?
The next dream, I'm writing it. I'm writing it now in my head. So when it's finished, then I will let you know. Any type of help, especially in the summertime with the garden. That has always been a challenge. There's 21 beds in that garden. Over the years, South provided me whatever I wanted, but keeping up with that garden is quite much. So I would need volunteers. So now what I did, I think 2 years ago, I gave half of it to the library.
Okay.
So we have 7 beds now. You know, but volunteers when we have events in August, we're planning a farm to table fundraiser event at Sal's Farm.
Mm-hmm.
Chef Chris Scott from the Food Network, Bravo, he is the one that suggested it. I was down in Brooklyn where he's at now with Butterfunk, his business, and he will come. Him and Chef Tyler, they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
Will come and help me raise money for this event. So there will be the 2 chefs. Hopefully I can get 2 more, and plus my students that had already graduated. So I will invite them to come and help out. So this is in August. So My board and I, you know, we're planning it now because it's going to be quite an undertaking.
And you did mention my rude boy Chef Davis, my rude boy
Chef
friend.
Dave,
Chef Davis, where you at? Rude boy, where you at, man?
right?
I,
Yeah.
I I have mastered the art of cooking pepper shrimp, by the way.
Oh, really? You
Mona,
have?
Mona, the pandemic had me burning.
All right.
I mean, burning. I feel like I could cook any Ghanaian food there is. No,
Oh, really?
that's not true. There's a lot of meal. There's a lot of goodies when it comes to Ghanaian food. But I've mastered the art of cooking a lot of Ghanaian food, and I'm very proud of me.
Good. I would love to. I don't know how to cook that type of cuisine.
Mhm.
I would love to invite you to my kitchen.
Yeah, you know, we when it comes to our cuisine, we have to have the spices that we use. These are not stop and shop spices,
Oh,
guys.
right. I
You
hear
know,
you.
you know,
I hear you.
every now and then people try to go to YouTube and do what they do, and learn to cook stuff.
Yeah.
I did YouTube too, but you have to know the spices because
Spices. Yeah.
we
That makes
do
the dish.
we do not compromise.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't, Mona, you know it.
Yeah.
Africans, Caribbeans, we don't compromise
Right.
on the
You gotta
spices
have
that you're
what you
supposed to
need.
use to cook.
Right.
You don't cook pepper shrimp and not use Scotch bonnet. You cannot
Yeah. Yeah.
compromise.
And it's not pepper shrimp if you use just peppercorns.
No,
You need that heat.
you need that heat.
Yeah,
You
you
do.
need that heat. But I
You do.
would love to, because if you have time in the near future,
Yes.
I'll get the ingredients. But I
Okay.
would love to learn a couple of dishes.
Okay.
All right.
Very, 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 very interesting.
Yeah.
What else do we need to know, Mona? This is your world. This is your world. I am so glad to have you. You were so due to be featured. Such a beautiful lady with a beautiful heart. Who is Mona Jackson? Who is Chef Jackson? Let's talk about you. And being in Bridgeport, coming from the South somewhere. Who is Miss Jackson?
South of what? South Norwalk?
I
That's
don't
where I
know.
came from.
Right. I know, right? Who is Miss Jackson?
Oh, a person who stays behind the scenes, but are working on whatever. And you don't know until I show up and do, because I have done it. And living in this city, when my mom brought us here, my sisters and brothers and I, when I was a kid, but I have lived, I'm from Norwalk, so I had the privilege of living in Norwalk and living in Bridgeport all my life. But I wound up, after I got grown, to stay in Bridgeport and watch the downtown when we had a downtown.
Yes.
I mean, the only thing that is Jimmy's.
Right.
Okay, still ripping off the young kids.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Shots fired.
All right, yeah. Okay. But I don't know. And then with the politics.
The politics.
The politics, yes. And how this city just went from sugar to shit, as far as I'm concerned. Because of all the factories, people weren't paying attention at the front door.
Mhm.
When these politicians were just stealing money left and right, and it's sad. And it's like there's a cloud over this city. And it
Yes.
has been there for years, and it's still there. And people must realize that, don't just settle for what they tell you. Ask questions, because I do.
Mhm.
If need to know something, or if you don't, If you don't know anything, you should know your council person. And don't let them just talk to you like a politician.
Right.
So as far as of who I am, what's she doing?
I'm listening.
Uh-huh.
So you ended up in Bridgeport from Norwalk, and you've just landed there, and that was it.
No, I mean, I have left Bridgeport on many occasions.
Many occasions, okay.
Else,
right.
ATL, California, but it seems like I always wound up back here.
And you know what? We probably got like 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes to wrap this up. I want to give a big shout out to and RIP to Pops, Drew's father. Yeah. You cannot talk about the arcade mall without mentioning the legendary Mr. Hall. I always remember him saying, "Don't say nothing that you cannot say in court."
That's right. Okay, there you go.
If I didn't learn anything from Pops, he says, "Don't say nothing that you cannot say in court." All right. So big shout out to Drew and Pops. And I also want to give a shout out to tell my friend Raquel. I said, "What's up?"
Chef Raquel. Yeah.
Tell Chef Raquel what's up for me.
I shall. I'll see her this weekend. Yeah.
So go ahead.
I thank you very much for letting me be on your show. It was fun.
It was fun. I didn't know there was no notes. There's nothing, it was all top of the head. It was uncut. It was raw. We tried so hard to be politically correct. I try to hold myself back.
You know what? That's not us.
It's not us, Mona, but it's not us, but we on the radio. So you gotta try. We on FM station, not AM,
It's hard. You ask me a question, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
And I gotta be careful what I ask you, because are you gonna tell me something that I may not be ready to? I love you so, Mona.
I love you.
Mona, off the radio, you got to do your class sometime today, sometime tomorrow. I'm going to have a conversation with you since the last time we met. And we did take a picture.
Yes, I loved it.
Right. Yeah. A lot has happened since then. And I'm gonna fill you in. You know what? Let me just say this. I've been very offended during the Black History Month to watch a black man tell me that the white man is superior over the black man, and then to go further for that person to tell me that the White House press secretary only got her job because of 3 things: because she's black, because she's gay, and because she is a woman.
Never mind her intelligence, right?
No, never mind her intelligence at all. I watched this person tell me that this person called others hoodlum and added me to it because of the clothes that we wear. When I missed the opportunity to ask this man, how many suits you have in your closet? I have over 50 suits in my closet, ready to go, ready to change clothes and go. Whether you want to talk about black tie affair, white tie affair, I'm going in my closet shopping, ready to go. Where this person calling me a hoodlum because of the clothes that I got on, don't even have one blue suit, one black suit, one gray suit, one brown suit, and to call me a hoodlum. And it all started when this person called Meek Mill, the artist, a hoodlum. And I said, how you call this man a hoodlum when this man is employing hundreds of people through what he does? And I'm going to leave it on that note because this conversation is going to be off the radar. It's deep.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
it's so deep.
Do I know this person?
Yes, you do.
Oh, well, see.
And it's so deep that I had to call my friend, Dr. Adolph Brown, that I really do need a mental health checkup. I was traumatized. And I said, I never thought that I would call a clinician. to really help me out with 2 days of not being able to sleep because of this.
So when we going to meet at 29 Mackerel Court?
Possibly this Friday. I'll give you I'll give you a call. Possibly this Friday.
Yeah, because now you got me curious.
Let me close this out. Mona, before I close it out, let's just tell us where people can get to can reach out.
They can reach me, they can call me, or leave me Facebook message. My phone number is 203-543-9493.
Thank you very much, Mona. This is the Urban Talk Radio 103.5 FM WNHHLP. I am your host, Kingsley Ossei. And if you just joining us in the last part of our show, you can follow the conversation on Facebook at Bull Mice and Twitter at Bull Mice. Also on my Facebook page, Kingsley Ossei. You can also stream this show and previous shows on your smartphone or computer by logging on to newhavenindependent.org. Thank you for joining us. Remember, Urban Talk Radio airs every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Z.
Mama piano, mama manga pagon. I be good bad boy, no choice. Been in the game not long. She be now we sing a con.
Bye.
Extraordinary things I'm doing. Ordinary things don't move me again. Extraordinary.